Welcome to the Bottle Poppin' Podcast, where Meg and Heather share their love for oils, friendship, and entrepreneurship. Let's get it poppin'.
Hey everyone, this is Meg.
Hi there, this is Heather.
And we are the Bottle Poppin' Podcast. So Heather, what are we opening up today? Or not opening up, what are we popping open today?
We are popping open a bottle of Thinker. This is the Focus Blend. But first, I've got a little question for you in regards to thinking. When you think of home, what is it that you think about?
I think about just being cozy and in a safe space. So I know like hygge is kind of a popular phrase, but I grew up overseas in Belgium and in Flemish, and I assume Dutch as well. The version of hygge is gezellig. And it is just that like cozy, safe space, soft place to land. That's what I think of.
That's actually the exact word that I thought of too, was cozy. It just makes me feel comfortable, safe. Yeah.
Yep. Well, and I feel like our aesthetic is kind of similar too, so makes sense.
So give me your first impression on the Thinker blend here.
I really, really like this. So for people who don't know, the name kind of implies it helps you think, so it like helps you focus. And it's not necessarily a smell that I would be like, oh, that would help me think. I don't even know what smell that would be. I feel like that would be like old books in the library or something. But it does make me think about thinking, because this came out around the time that I was going back to school to become a nutritionist. And I use this a lot to help me focus. And especially like I had a full-time job, and then I had actually two, maybe three. I think I had two businesses as well at the time. And so I didn't have a lot of free time. And so I would normally dedicate all day Saturday. So like 8 to 10 hours of studying. And this is what I would apply. And it would just help me focus. And it was something I was interested in. And so it makes me happy, but it helps me, like just smelling it, I feel more focused.
This is not one that I think about very often. Mm-hmm. But when I opened it this morning just to smell it, I really enjoy the smell of this one. When my son was in, I believe, second grade, he was a very antsy little body, and he had trouble in class just kind of sitting still and focusing on what they were working on. So I asked the teacher if he could keep this in his backpack, and if he was having trouble focusing, that she would just give him a nudge to go and roll it on his wrist or the back of his neck and see if it would help. She was on board with that. And he would just quietly walk over to his backpack, apply it, and then go back. And it really helped him that year. I don't think we had to use it after that. As he grew up, he seemed to improve on that. And this was an easy one to send in the backpack. In fact, my daughter's in fourth grade now and struggling with that. And I've asked her several times, do you want me to ask if we can just put this in your bag? Right now, she's working on squeezing a stress ball or doing different things to help her just kind of pay attention to the task at hand. But this is another easy tool. I like easy tools.
Yeah. And I love that your school was willing to work with you. I'm curious, do you think it would be as effective to just apply it before they go to school?
I do, but I do think these types of natural things need to be applied regularly. So I think having it on their person or in their backpack makes it a little bit easier to apply throughout the day, since they're at school for several hours.
Yeah. So this is part of the kids line, and obviously I'm not a kid, and I said I loved it. So don't feel like it has to be used just for kids. It's awesome for adults too. But the cool thing with it being designed for kids is it comes in a handy roller bottle, and it's pre-diluted as well. So it's super easy, like Heather said, for young kids to easily apply it for themselves and be able to be empowered in that way.
Out of curiosity, we haven't said the ingredients yet. What are the first scents that you smell?
Well, the first scent that I smell is vetiver, just because I feel like that is just a strong smelling essential oil anyways. But I don't know that I smell anything like I can tell there's more in here than vetiver, because it's not the all powerful vetiver version. But I don't know that smelling it, I could guess what the other scents are.
Interesting. So when I took off the cap this morning, I immediately smelled a citrus, which I recognized was not a lemon or a wild orange. Mm-hmm. And then I smelled the peppermint. So the ingredients in this, again, it's diluted with the fractionated coconut oil, but the first ingredient is vetiver. Second is peppermint, clementine, and rosemary. Because this only comes in the roller bottle, I wanted to create the scent behind me. So I put in the diffuser this morning, vetiver, which if you don't own vetiver, it is very thick like honey. The drops would not come out after several seconds. So I had to take off the little orifice and just drop it in. So a little unsure of how many drops went in there, but I did vetiver, peppermint. Turns out I'm out of clementine. Tangerine was a nice substitute. And then a few drops of rosemary. It smells very good in here. And I feel like I'm alert and ready to go.
Yeah. It's interesting because vetiver, I would not have thought for focus necessarily, but I personally had a really awesome experience with vetiver helping me with overthinking. So I was overthinking a big decision and it was keeping me up at night. And then I heard that vetiver could kind of slow down the hamster wheel in your brain and started using it for bedtime. And it made such a huge difference. So it's kind of cool how it calms the mind. But then like rosemary, I've definitely heard of being for brain and focus. And so like the two working together, and citrus oils also are amazing for focus. So
and peppermint.
I wonder why they picked the clementine versus lemon or something else. But maybe it's just because it smells really good, because this whole combo smells really good.
It does. And I know they work a really long time on the synergistic qualities of the scent and then the properties of the oils to create these blends. So I'm guessing clementine, for whatever reason, was either a better scent blended with all of them, or its properties just worked better for this blend. Vetiver is exactly what you said before. It's so calming on my mind and kind of just shuts off the chatter. So for my brain, I always think about it as a bedtime oil. And when I first realized that it was in here, I was surprised because my mind thinks of it as a nighttime oil. But you read in one of the reference books that it is good for overactive and underactive brains. And I guess that makes total sense because the overactive, the vetiver is calming for it. But the underactive, you've got the citrus, the rosemary, and the peppermint to lift it up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really unique oil blend. And doTERRA does have a focus blend that's made for adults. I don't remember what it's called. What's it called?
Intune.
Intune. Yeah. I hate Intune.
I love Intune when I need it. It works so well. It is a completely different scent from this. Do not buy Intune expecting these same oils. There is very different oils in it, and it's very strong. I wore it the other day to work because I was struggling to kind of get myself going. I opted out of coffee that morning, so I just needed something a little bit more stimulating. I put it on, and a patient was like, "Oh, you smell so good today."
How
and
funny.
I know that when my husband's worn it, he wore it to church one time and the pastor came up and was like, "Oh, you smell so good today." So it's funny how outside people smell it and they immediately think it smells good, because you're right. It's not one that I would classify as a good smelling oil just straight from the bottle.
Yeah. I dislike the smell so much that I could not even tell you the last time I used it for focus.
But the bottoms of the feet. Remember, if you don't like oils, you can put it on the bottoms of your feet.
I know, but I still I just don't want that smell on me. So grateful for Thinker because I love the way this one smells.
Yes, you're right. Good alternative for the people that don't like the scent of one. This works really effectively and it smells good too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I keep this actually on my desk or right by my desk, because I use it often on days where it's like really long and I still have a lot of things on my to-do list. I will apply this. I will put on some music and just like focus in on what I need to get done. And it really, really helps me, especially with like writing. So tasks like that where you have to be single-minded focused, I feel like it's super helpful. Okay. Well, anything else on Thinker oil?
I think we both like this one. My kids like this one. I think that if you've got to apply any focus to anything in your life, this is a good one to have on hand. And again, it just smells really good too.
It really does. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening. We will have a brand new episode for you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. For more information, you can follow these bottle poppin' ladies at bottlepoppinpodcast.com. Tune in next week to learn about what bottle we're poppin'. Until next time, take care. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This podcast is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.